2024 Reigel Promotions E-Sports 305 Harvest Cup, presented by the 𝐑𝐚𝐽𝐿 Racing League. Tonight, it's round number 4. As these drivers battle for championship glory, there once again be a $5 top prize on the line as they continue to fight to be the inaugural 305 champion. And this is 𝐑𝐏𝐿 Racing Performance Night. Thank you to them and all of our great partners as they bring you live action from the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville Raceway. To you, Ben.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm excited to be here at the famous Knoxville Raceway. I think we're in for a heck of a show tonight. Knoxville usually never disappoints here in our league as far as the racing.
No, it does not. And we've had a lot of 360 events here, but we've not had 305s here at Knoxville yet. And as you know, this is one of my favorite tracks to race 305s at.
Yep, it is one of your favorites. It's not a huge favorite of mine, but that's just me personally. I know a lot of the people on the sim, though, do like Knoxville a lot, so I'm very much in the minority for that, as we have just wrapped up practice and now we're getting underway with qualifying. Looks like we have both Robert Puckett and Brian Kling going out to the track now. And again, just want to remind everyone that qualifying is brought to you by Two Fat Guys Sim Racing Promotions. Again, the driver who sets the most quick time awards throughout the 305 season this year will get $5 courtesy of Two Fat Guys Sim Racing Promotions. And right now, Jimbo Rooney leads the way with that, has 2 of them so far in the first 3 races. As we're watching Armando Melgoza setting his first lap, and it goes quick time so far, the 16.962. He's coming around here to complete lap number 2. We'll see if he's able to improve it all. And a bit slower, a 17.112. As we see David Flanagan making his way out to the speedway now. Looks like we also have 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿 is out there on his first lap. I'll keep an eye on his time while we watch David Flanagan here on the broadcast. 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿's come around to complete his first lap. And it's good enough for 5th quick at a 17.035. And we see David Flanagan go to the top of the tables with a 16.919. Quick time for Flash Flanagan. 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿 just completed his second lap, was just a tick slower, so he'll keep that 17.035.
A little slower for Flash Flanagan on that lap.
Yep, but he still sits at the top of the boards right now with that low 16.9 second lap. As Corey
returning this week.
Yep, he just set his first lap with a 17.286. He'll be looking for some improvement here on lap number 2 and move him up farther up the board. And he does find some improvement. Looks like that puts him about 8th quick with a 17.046.
Gary Steele just went 5th quick. He experienced quite a bit of bad luck last week.
Looks like his second lap is a little bit slower than his first lap, so his first lap will be as fast as well. With a 17.003 puts him 5th quick. As we're watching Michael Eckhart right now, about to come around to complete his second lap. His first lap was good enough for a 17.054. Second lap just a bit slower. He'll keep that first lap, which puts him 10th quick.
Right now you got your leading fast qualifier this season with 2 already. Can you pick up the third one? So far, it looks like this is one of his best tracks. So we'll see if he can back it up.
Well, so far it looks like lap number 1 isn't quite good enough for quick time yet. It's good enough for 5th quick. He'll need about a 10th improvement here to get quick time. And he is not able to find any improvement. He'll keep that 17.002 and take 5th fastest on the evening. So that means our points leader coming into tonight, the 31 car of David Flanagan, is your quick time winner here at Knoxville with that 16.919. Which that'll give him a good starting spot for his heat race as he looks to try and extend his points gap tonight. It is only a 2-point difference between him and Jimbo Rooney coming into tonight. So he'll be looking for any sort of point gain on Rooney to try and spread that point gap out just a little bit more.
Yep, as we come to a close here in qualifying, we will get ready for heat race number 1, which is presented by Billy Anderson on Twitch. He is also our $5 winning award bonus each week. As we said, we are thrilled to have Billy Anderson on Twitch as our heat race number 1 sponsor for the 305 Harvest Cup. Check them out on their Twitch channel today.
As we are gridding up for heat race number 1 as we speak, and your starting lineup for heat 1 looks like this. On the pole is our fast qualifier of the night, the 31 of David Flanagan, and to his outside is the 2 of Brian Kling. Second row is second in points, the number 27 of Jimbo Rooney, and to his outside, the number 28 of Tim Henderson. In row 3, you have the 112 of Dylan McKee and the 8 car of Michael Eckhart. And all alone on row number 4 is the number 21 of Trevor McCoy. And we do have one car in this heat race that will be dropping to the back to serve a penalty from last week on Oswego. That is the 27 of Jimbo Rooney. So he will actually be starting back there in the 7th position. So that'll move Dylan McKee up to the 3rd position and Trevor McCoy up to the 5th position.
All the cars in this heat race will advance straight to the end. With only 13 cars, we will not need an admin box be named tonight. So go directly to the feature. But we will have 2 heats, and the top 6 will be inverted. So the winner of this heat will start 6th.
Yep, we'll see if David Flanagan can win it from pole. That seems to be the common theme so far this season, is that the pole sitter in heat 1 typically wins the first heat. We'll see if it's any different here tonight as pace car or pace truck pulls off, and we're green flag racing for heat number 1. As David Flanagan does lead into turn number 1 and 2, with Brian Kling a couple car lengths behind, and just behind him you have Dylan McKee. Everyone kind of single filing out early on here in heat number 1, which we've also seen to be a common theme so far this season, as the track still has a lot of grip in it.
It's always a challenge for me to try to figure out who I'm going to watch in this first team. Like you said, the track's always fast. Especially the 305 is just mainly hammered down.
Yeah, definitely. As our closest battle right now looks like it's for that 5th position, with Trevor McCoy and Jimbo Rooney looking to his inside.
Close quarters there off of turn 2, but McCoy turns away the charge.
Yeah, Rooney tried to make that bottom stick, but just a little too much grip on that outside lane to make the bottom work yet. So he'll have to slot back in behind and try and mount another charge on the 21 of Trevor McCoy.
Trevor McCoy was the first driver to sign up for the full season for 2025 with us. As David Flash Flanagan continues to lead the way.
Yes, looks like that gap is kind of stabilized right around 7 to 8 tenths of a second over the 2 of Brian Kling. As Brian Kling has a few cars that are still right behind him, waiting for some sort of mistake from him, but so far nothing doing. As Flash Flanagan comes out of turn number 4, this is a white flag, 1 lap to go here in heat number 1. Still mostly single file here throughout this heat number 1. Looks like Flanagan will pull the heat 1 victory. Brian Kling second, 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐬𝐿 third, Tim Henderson fourth, and Trevor McCoy rounds out your top 5 in heat 1.
And here's the results, just as Ben just mentioned.
Yep, you had Flanagan with the win, Brian Kling second, 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐬𝐿 third, Tim Henderson fourth, Trevor McCoy fifth, Jimbo Rooney 6th, and Michael Eckhart in 7th. But again, all drivers do transfer directly to the feature. And now we are griding up for heat race number 2.
That means it's my turn. Another member of the 2025 full-time drivers in the 305 is going to be Armando Melgoza. He is on the pole of heat race number 2. In the 5:31. And then you got Robert Puckett. Nearly won race number 1. He's had some strong finish. He's still inside the top 5 in points on the outside row. And third, the 88 of Gary Steele. Fourth, the number 5 of Cody Wickard. A newcomer, number 22, Corey Denson. And fifth, 6th, Tyler Flynn. Got second last week, so he's looking for another charge up front, and that's all she wrote for heat race number 2. So we get ready to get going.
Yep, just 6 starters here for heat 2. Again, Armando Melgoza will be the control car once we get the 1 to go signal this time. We'll see if he can do the same thing that David Flanagan did in heat 1 and win from the pole position. As the track should be starting to lose a little bit of its grip now as we get more and more running on it, so we should start to see that track widen out just a little bit more and be a little bit more racy.
So at least what you can hope for, put it that way. I mean, it hasn't failed us yet this season. It seems like it widens out very quickly for the feature, and it gets pretty slick. It's always been a great race so far.
Yeah, typically the heats, it's a little narrow and fast, but yeah, once we get to that feature, it should be pretty good as we are coming to it with the pace truck rolling off. And Armando Melgoza waits till the straightaway to fire, and he is off. We are under green flag racing here for heat 2.
Well, they already had some wheels touching that there.
Yeah, looks like Robert Puckett wasn't quite ready for Armando Melgoza to go right then and there. And yeah, he lost a couple spots there off the jump, but he's still holding on to 4th as we speak. As behind him, we have a battle for 5th with Tyler Flynn looking to the inside of Cody Wickard. But again, just like with Rooney in heat 1, just nothing doing on that inside yet. He peeks the inside yet again. Yeah, it seemed like he was the big beneficiary of that, going from 5th to 3rd right off the start. As again, like we saw in heat 1, everyone kind of single filing out on that cushion line for right now.
As Tyler Flynn took a narrow peak, couldn't quite get to his inside.
Yeah, he's committed right now to trying to make that bottom work to see if it's there, but just drivers are just getting a little too much of a run off of the on the top out of the corners to make that bottom work.
Tyler Flynn was the fastest car on the track last night. And all these cars are just so easy to run on the track. We saw this at Oklahoma earlier this season as well. That was close.
Yeah, Flynn went for a big move there on the 5 of 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿𝐿. He is definitely down there now this time. Still, 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿𝐿 just powers by him on the outside coming off of turn 4.
Still couldn't quite get him.
Still fairly close between our whole field of cars from first on back to 6th. Not really anyone that's pulled away from anybody. Everyone's kind of running very similar lap times right now.
Oh, Benson slipped up there. Puckett's looking to charge.
Yep, Corey was trying to look to the inside of Gary Steele and got a little sideways, and because of it, he's going to lose the position now to Robert Puckett off the final corner. And Robert Puckett will take that 3rd place away from Corey Denson, with Armando 𝐑𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 winning. Yes, you're absolutely right. He will be on the pole with that move. So again, here's your Heat 2 results up on your screen now. Again, Armando 𝐑𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 with the win. Gary Steele brings home 2nd. Robert Puckett steals that 3rd place off the final corner from Corey Denson, who finishes 4th. 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿𝐿 finishes 5th, and Tyler Flynn finishes 6th.
Now we're on to our warm-up session.
Yep, these drivers will have a few minutes here to run in the track, try and, like we said, widen it out and make it a little bit more easier to race side by side on for the feature. That's what we're hoping for. And just want to mention for the feature that throughout this season, the Hard Charger Award sponsor is brought to you by Extreme Rap Studio. So the driver who accumulates the most Hard Charger awards during the season will receive a courtesy of Extreme Rap Studio. As of now, I believe we have a 3-way tie for that. 3 different drivers having a piece. So no one in the lead of that at the moment. Check out Extreme Rap Studio on Facebook or by joining their Discord server. And also want to shout out our title sponsor on the 305 season, Night Owl Racing Association. Join the newly formed league whether you're looking for 305 and 360 sprints or even limited late models. The limiteds race on Tuesdays, the 305s on Fridays, and the 360s on Sundays. All races are held at 9 p.m. Eastern starting October 25th. Which means they would have already started, so they are currently in their season, I believe. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yeah, yes it is. They've had, I think, 2 weeks in the books. I've seen a couple of their Facebook posts over the last couple of weeks. Well, to me, it looks like they've had a pretty good league so far.
Yeah, so if any driver in our race or watching the broadcast is interested in another league to have some fun in, then check out Night Owl Racing Association. As we're about halfway through our warm-up session, Andrew, it is that time. Who is your pick to win tonight's race here at the Knoxville Raceway? I think I know my pick as long as you don't take it.
Because I think David Flynn, unless he started out fun, he looks pretty good now. I think that's my pick. To get his 2nd win of the season.
You know, that's not who I was gonna pick, so I'm glad you picked him. My pick might surprise you based on where he's starting, but I am taking our hard charger from last week of Tyler Flynn. He's got a lot of work to do starting back there in 12th, but he was starting to make that bottom work just that little bit in the heat race, and I think with all the running we're going to get here in the warm-up, I think that bottom is going to start to come in, and I think you might find him down there. He also made the bottom work pretty well at Oswego, so he's kind of building that as a characteristic of himself of being very good on the bottom. And like I said, I think the bottom is going to come in, and he might be one to watch here in tonight's event. And it also helps that he's also quickest in our warm-up session as of now.
But now the battle really is on. Average time will be halfway. the championship battle is really heating up into a two-horse race with Jimbo Moon and David Flanagan, as they're really separating themselves from the rest of the field.
Yeah, they both have about a 30-ish point gap back to the next set of cars, which is very close together. Looking at the points now, we have 3rd through about 10th in the standings. They're all separated by less than 10 points, or 10 points or less. That's 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐶𝐒, Brian Kling, Trevor McCoy, Jake Roya, Robert Puckett, Gary Steele, Cody Wickard, and Donnie Batiste are all in that mix. A couple of those drivers not here tonight, so they will lose out on that battle because of missing tonight. But yeah, that is definitely a points battle to keep an eye out for. Not only the battle at the front, but also the battle for 3rd. As our warm-up session is wrapping up now, we'll be gritting up here for tonight's 25-lap A main in just a second.
Someone just took a huge wreck at turn 4. So now we'll put up the grid for tonight's feature event.
Well, hey, lucky for tonight with them wrecking at the end of the warm-up, at least it's not real life, and they are done for the rest of the event. They get a fresh car for the A main. And here is your starting lineup for tonight's feature event. Like we said earlier, there was a 6-car invert from the way we finished in the heat races. That means we have the 30 of Robert Puckett lining up on pole position, and to his outside is the 112 of 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐶𝐒.
And row number 2, out of Florida, the number 88 of Gary Steele. And on his outside, the number 2 from the Midwest, Brian Kling.
Row number 3, we have our 2 heat race winners, the 531 of Armando Melgoza, and to his outside, number 31 of David Flanagan.
And then we got the number 28 of Tim Henderson, going 7th, and then to his outside 8th, the number 22 of Corey Denson.
And in row number 5, we have the 21 of Trevor McCoy, and to his outside, the number 5 of Cody Wickard.
Then we got second in points, number 27 of Jimbo Rooney. It's a long way to go tonight. And also Ben's pick, going 12th. Number 831, Tyler Flynn.
Yeah, keep an eye on that 6th row. We might see both of those cars making their way up to the field. As on our 7th and final row is just 1 car, the number 8 of Michael Eckhart.
As we're just about ready to get going.
Yep, again, we got 25 laps on tap here for tonight's race at Knoxville. So long, doesn't seem like a long race, only 25 laps, but it is a bigger track, so will be plenty of racing action here, hopefully. Yep, Robert Puckett fires first. He will lead the field into turn number 1, with 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐶𝐒 in hot pursuit, and just behind him, Brian Kling. Top 5 are kind of nose to tail so far, but we're side by side, 2 by 2 back here, further back in the pack.
As the fireworks are going off like crazy as always.
Yeah, and I don't know what iRacing has done in the last year or so with Knoxville, but it seems like the fireworks last for a good 3 laps before they go off, as they're still going off. As we have David Flanagan looking to the inside of Brian Kling here for the 3rd position. See if he can make it stick as he clips into the side of 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐶𝐒 a little bit and lose it. Yeah, it looks like he was trying to complete maybe a little bit of a slider and just kind of slid up into the side of 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐶𝐒 there. So he'll have to regroup and see if he can try and charge back up through the field.
We got a whole haggle of cars here from 5th on back.
this, the battle for looks like 8th, 9th, 10th back here, where they're about 3 wide right now for that 7th spot, I believe it is. That was
Looks like
Tyler.
we're getting a little closer to the lead up here. I was watching the relative.
Yeah, they're still very much nose to tail, but no one's quite peeked out of line too far to really make a move yet. They're still kind of rolling that top pretty good though. As we have noticed, the track has widened out a little bit at least. That top is getting farther and farther around. It still seems like it has a lot of grip in it though.
It's going to keep that way for a little bit. I expect towards the end of the race, they'll start beating back out again.
And just like that, we already have 8 laps in the books. So we're almost to the halfway point of this race. As here in the middle of the pack, looks like we have Trevor McCoy looking to the, or not, it's not Trevor McCoy, sorry, Jimbo Rooney looking to the inside of 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿𝐿 for the 6th spot. 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿𝐿 still holds on to it, powering around the outside of the 27.
Still very much so.
Yeah, it seems like Rooney was actually able to make that move on the 5 of 𝐑𝐚𝐫𝐿𝐿, so move him up into the 6th spot as he is all over the tail tank of the 531 of Armando Melgoza. We'll see if he can crack into the top 5.
Is this your man, Tyler Flynn, working that burn at the bottom?
Yeah, he's giving it his all. It's just not quite there yet.
He had the fastest lap.
It seems like you have to hit it just right to make it work.
Yeah, like you get it just a little bit too much there and lost it at the time. As I did just see, they missed it there, but Rooney did get by Melgoza for 5th place.
Yeah, we also have a heck of a battle right now for the 3rd spot. Gary Steele is to the outside of Brian Kling. Brian Kling tries to make that middle work, but loses a decent amount of ground, and Gary Steele will hold on to that 3rd spot, as Rooney's now looking to pounce on the 2 of Brian Kling and take that 4th spot away. Looks like Rooney runs a little bit of a reverse slider line there. Pokes his nose the inside of Brian Kling. Won't quite have him cleared though. Was almost able to keep him to his inside, but just has to slide back in behind him for now.
Gary Steele now all over in for 2nd place. Oh, but here comes Rooney in for 4th.
Yep, Rooney gets a good bite off of turn 2 there and is able to clear the slider this time on Brian Kling. And we had a little bit of contact back behind.
Looks like Trevor McCoy cleared the racetrack there a little bit. No harm, no foul, looks like to me. They both kept going. So we're about to have a 3-car battle here for the 2nd place.
And man, this race is flying by. We already are coming to 7 laps to go this time by. As Rooney now looks to the inside of the 88 of Gary Steele. Is he going to try a 2-for-1 move here?
He does. He almost
He
had it.
just about cleared it. He probably could have cleared it if he would have really went for it, but he looks like he will clear him this time.
Oh, we
As
knew
they are,
about to go down.
yeah, very close there between Dylan McKee and Dylan McKee and Gary Steele. As they're still close. Oh, McKee's in the outside wall.
Yeah, he's got the wall. Oh, into the wall.
As we have our first yellow of the race, with looks like just 5 laps to go. Go back and see exactly how that started. From what I could tell live, it almost looked like it was netcode on my end. I don't know if the broadcast will show the same thing.
Look like
Yeah.
they actually touched. then obviously everything after that was just kind of a chain reaction as to what had happened. But can we talk about Robert Puckett leading this race with 5 laps to go? I don't want to jinx him though. He was leading with less than 5 laps to go at USA as well.
I would say you just had to bring it up now that he's leading. You probably just gave him the commentator's curse.
Oh, we'll see. Only time will tell. I mean, he does have to hold off Rooney back here, who's charged from what, the 11th position, I think it was.
Yeah, he is your current hard charger for sure right now, coming 11th to 2nd.
Gary Steele had quite a bit of a rebound from last week, as he had one of the worst races you could ask for at Oswego, I thought.
Yeah, and right now he finds himself in a podium spot, so we'll see in these final 5 laps if he can hold on to that podium spot or even improve and make it P2 or even the win. As I believe lights are out on the pace truck, so I do believe we are getting the green flag this time by. Should be a single file restart from here on out for these drivers if we do get any more yellows. As Rob Puckett fires in the middle of turn 4 there and gets a good launch on Rooney, kind of catches him napping just a little bit and gets out to about a 4 or 5 car length lead. Single file on back except for David Flanagan, who just made a pass on the outside of Tyler Flynn for the 7th spot. Flynn is looking back to his inside. Not quite to his inside, though.
Not going to slap all the way.
Yep, we'll still give Flanagan the outside lane as Flanagan now goes down to the bottom to run a slider line and protect. As everyone else here in the top 6 is still single file with just 3 laps to go.
It's really looking like he's really good. We're going to see what's going to happen.
Yep, he is getting closer and closer. But like we mentioned earlier this season, it's one thing to catch the guy, it's another thing to pass him. As T is all over there, gets a great run out of turn 4. Looks to the inside, he's going to try and throw the slider on Rob Puckett. He does clear it. Rob gets back to his tail tank though, we'll see if Rob throws one back at him. As Rob does go through the middle, but gives Rooney the outside. As they get very close. And that does bring out a yellow. I did not know if we were going to get a yellow since that was coming to the white, but we do get a yellow flag for that.
I guess it was like directly before. It was as close as you could get.
That was as close as you can get.
Tough break for Robert Puckett there. Running a heck of a race, trying to get the lead back, and just wasn't enough room for him to come up there, and he got into the side of Rooney. At least it didn't take them both out.
Yeah, I mean, we were watching it live, but looks like on the replay from what I'm seeing, looks like, yeah, Rob was just sliding up just that little bit. Looks like Jimbo Rooney also came down the track a little bit as well, and they basically just met in the middle. And unfortunately, the 30 of Robert Puckett got the worst end of it.
Yeah, just one of the deal. I mean, you race for the win inside the last 2 laps. And obviously, you're doing everything you can to get to the line first.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for Robert Puckett. That it looks like his night will come to an end as he is still in the pits, I believe, towing. So don't know if he'll be able to get out in time to restart this race. But yeah, just 2 cars going hard for the win. And I knew you shouldn't have said anything. I told you, you gave him the commentator's curse.
I guess you're definitely right about that. The question is, does Gary Steele have anything for him now? He's going to have 2 laps to go. The green-white checkers. We're going to see here in a moment. I guess
he's definitely going to need to get a good start. If he doesn't get a good restart here, I think it's all but over.
I'll tell you what, it's definitely a good night to have a green car. You got all three of them, I believe, in the top 5.
And we do fire. Rooney does get a decent start. Gets out to about that same 4 or 5 car length lead that Robert Puckett had the last restart. as we are 3 wide back there for 4th. Between David Flanagan, Armando Melgoza, and Trevor McCoy, they are still very close. They're almost 4 wide back there. Yep, white flag is out. And we have... Now they're wrecking. But unfortunately, the white flag is out, so no yellows anymore. As Jimbo Rooney comes through turns 3 and 4, and he will win yet again here at the Knoxville Raceway with Gary Steele in 2nd and Brian Kling in 3rd. We hope to be interviewing those drivers here in just a second. What a race that was, Andrew. What a race.
It was a very good race. Had some contact at the end, but we only had 2 yellows, and they were both within the last 5 laps. Heck of a job by these drivers to put on a good show. As we got our
absolutely.
rundown here, we got Rooney picking up his 2nd win of the season, Gary Steele in 2nd, Brian Kling 3rd, David Flanagan not quite enough, but after the incident there in the beginning, good rebound for a 4th place finish. 5th is Corey Denson, 6th was Tim Henderson, 7th Michael Eckhart, 8th Dylan McKee, 9th Trevor McCoy, 10th was Tyler Flynn, and 11th is Armando Melgoza, 12th Robert Puckett, and then 13th, the only car not to finish, I believe, is the 5 of Cody Wickert.
Yeah, I think that last incident there on the white flag lap, I think my pick there, Tyler Flynn, was one of the cars involved. We had at least 3 or 4 cars that were involved in that, I think, that finished towards the back there. So unfortunate for everyone that did get caught up in that were having good runs and had their night ruined in the last lap. But it is part of racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, and like we said about the Puckett incident, it's just you're fighting so hard at the end there. It's tough to fault anybody when it comes to that because you just got to give it your all.
Well, we have all 3 of our top 3 waiting for us in the waiting room. So without further ado, I guess we will speak to our race winner. 3 in a row. Am I correct, Andrew?
Actually, yeah, I believe you're right. I said 2nd win. That was my bad. I forgot he'd won 3 in a row.
So we'll bring him in here and get a word in with our winner, Jimbo Rooney.
Well, they put me.
Hey, Jimbo, it's Ben and Andrew in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
10-4, guys.
Well, man, first thing I got to ask you, did you think at all that you'd be talking to us at the end of tonight after starting deep back there in 11th place?
Well, I sure hope so. I have to say I was pretty hopeful to try to, but and then I heard Andrew say, "Oh, Jimbo's pretty good at this track," so that really made me go, oh, "Crap!" I had to back it up because I did not feel so fast earlier in the night. I didn't get a lot of practice in, and then qualifying, I kind of made a little slip up, and so that took away a little confidence. And then the heat race was even worse. We get in one car, and I'm like, "Oh boy, I hope this track gets a little slicker for me," and it did. I think a lot of guys were hesitant of that slider line, and it really gave you enough room. This place is so wide that if you throw it just right, you can get them.
Yeah, speaking of that slider line, walk us through that those last couple of laps before the final restart, battling Robert Puckett there and throwing a slider on him, and then the little bit of contact you guys made.
Man, I was rooting for him too. My kids are over here watching me race, and they're like, "Oh, you got to get by that guy." I'm like, "Listen, if I don't get by him, that's all right. I want Robert Puckett to win." So I feel real bad that he got taken out. I really didn't want that to happen, but he was fast tonight again. I didn't expect him to be there at all, back underneath me. And so that was unfortunate, but I was glad to get by him. I think it was a couple laps before that when I got a 2-for-1 deal. That really surprised me.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Andrew, anything you want to ask Jimbo?
Honestly, 2nd time this season, no, because I was going to ask about Robert Puckett, so that was my only question.
Yeah, no, man. I can't wait to see him. I mean, how awesome is it to see him improve so much, though? He's doing great.
Yeah, he's doing especially his big half mile. He seems to be very good. I'm not sure how good he's going to be next week at Lamaland, but he's surprised me this season, so he might do it again.
Yeah, I mean, Lima Land's not my strong suit, but maybe I'll give it a little practice if I can. It's funny because it's the only track I've driven in real life, and I suck at it in iRacing. So,
Well, Jimbo, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank for tonight?
yeah, I'd like to Regal Esports Promotions guys. Thanks for putting this on. Always a good night. Tonight was awesome. It's nice to get the hard charger too. I've been wanting one of those. Yeah, I appreciate it. So thanks everything.
Yep, absolutely, man. We'll let you celebrate that win and hopefully see you in the 360s here in just a bit.
See you then. Hopefully that was a good omen. So, all right, I'll see you.
See ya. That was our race winner for 3 weeks in a row, Jimbo Rooney. And now we'll speak to our second place finisher, the 88 of Gary Steele. Hey, Gary, it's Ben and Andrew in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, you were battling there in the top three pretty much the whole night. And then down the stretch there in P2, well, actually P3 behind the battle of Jimbo Rooney and Robert Puckett there. And then the two made contacts that got you up into P2. On that last restart, did you think you had anything you could do differently to try and get past Rooney and take that win away from him?
I said if I can get a good restart, I'll try and slide him in 3 and 4. But if not, I'm just going to ride the top and finish in a podium spot.
Yeah, we were definitely talking about it live on the broadcast that it seemed like that was going to be the key on that final restart, was to try and get a good jump, but it's always so difficult too when you're the second place car to time that jump with the first place guy. Andrew, anything you want to ask Gary?
Well, a good run tonight. Definitely a big comeback from last week after all the tough luck at Oswego. And I believe this was your first podium.
Absolutely, yeah. I felt like, the first 3 races we had a hot rod and just had bad luck. But I felt like I told Trevor, my teammate, I told him tonight, I said, I feel good. I feel a podium coming. And I'm going to do what it takes to get there.
Yeah, you definitely showed plenty of good speed throughout that feature and had a couple good battles there throughout that top 3. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight for your second place finish?
I like the EA Speed Shop, Big Worms, Racing Videos, Misfit Sim Sports, that's our team, Right Rear Racing. Trevor, he's been a good coach of mine, and also Robert, they both have been coaching me along, fairly new on this, so very happy with my podium tonight.
Yeah, man, well, it was fun watching you battle there in the top 3. We'll let you celebrate that second place finish.
Man, appreciate you guys.
And that was our second place finisher of Gary Steele. And last but not least, we'll move on to our third place finisher, the 2 of Brian Kling. Hey, Brian, it's Ben and Andrew in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, man, you started in the top 5, pretty much battled in the top 5 all night, ended up with a third place finish. Did you have anything in those last couple restarts to get by either Gary Steele or Jimbo Rooney in the final laps?
No, I mean, I think in the beginning I could have slide jobbed someone if there had been more gap between first and second. But, like, they never had a good gap until I never really had a good run and never had space to throw a slider. And also I didn't want to throw a slider and, like, lose out on points. Kind of trying to just Terry Labonte my way to a title here by just going, like, top 5, top 5, top 5, top 5. So I kind of just knew I'd let everyone else wreck each other and took it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you from experience and other things that I've raced, that's not a bad strategy to try and do that, to just be really consistent, get a lot of top 5s, and even if you don't end up winning, it could still result in the title. You never know.
Yeah, I thought about purposely getting third in the heat just to start in up front, but I didn't have the confidence that I wouldn't put myself in fourth, so I just did the best I could to get points.
Andrew, anything you want to ask Brian?
Well, just like with Gary Steele, your first podium this season, I believe. You had some good runs throughout the year. I mean, I believe it was...
Yeah. I've
mean-
choked out the starting on pole 2 weeks in a row.
I thought that's what I thought. I thought I remembered that.
Yep. So I got to win at some point, but I need to stop choking when I start on pole. But one of these days,
Yeah, once eventually you're gonna get it.
yep, that's the goal.
Yeah, we'll be pulling for you for the rest of the season. Brian, before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank for tonight's third place finish?
No, just my dog for letting me race.
That's always a good person to thank, even though it's not a person. Well, Brian, we'll let you celebrate that third place finish.
Sounds good. Thank you. See you in 360s.
Yep, see you then. And that was our third place finisher of Brian Kling. Well, Andrew, another one in the books, which means we are now halfway through our 305 season.
Yes, we are. So we got a couple different tracks coming up here. We've hit a lot of half miles early on in the season. We haven't. I don't know if we think we've gone to a track under a half mile yet. But next week that changes with Lima Land. That's going to be another wild card, kind of like Oswego was. Charlotte should be a decent race for everybody. It's a little smaller than a half mile, but relatively the same thing. Lincoln, you know how I feel about Lincoln, Ben.
Yeah, Lincoln will be interesting. I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be a good race, but it is a very tight confines type of track, so it might be a bit messy. You never know.
It's a very, very tight corners-ish track, and we go to the one track that a lot of these drivers have actually raced with us at in the 305s before, Volusia.
Yep. Well, that concludes our night here from the Knoxville Raceway. Again, just like kind of the rest of the season, the feature did not disappoint. Definitely had some great battling throughout that feature, and a really long green flag run there to start the feature, going about, 20 laps, I believe, without a single caution, Andrew?
Yeah, we got nearly them all. I thought we were going to go all the way for a while.
Yes, that was a great long green flag run there to start. Like Andrew already mentioned, next week we will be at the Lima Land Speedway, just a short quarter mile. I think the shortest track we've been to so far this season. So, and again, just like this week, that will open up at 7 p.m. with racing scheduled at 7:20 p.m. and that's roughly around when you can find us live. But yep, that's it for tonight for us from here at Knoxville. Just want to thank all drivers for coming out, and thank you for everyone tuning in tonight. And we'll see you next week at the same time for Lima